Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
How's everybody doing, man? Another Hambone 2 movies. We're over here talking about one of my favorite movies of the year so far that I've seen. Dungeons and Dragons, biggest surprise of the year. Mario Brothers tearing it up. That was just a fun little nostalgia ride, in the movie theater. I thought the movie was a little too simple, whatever. But besides that, it was still kind of fun. I still left it with a smile on my face. But Evil Dead Rise was something that I have been waiting for. Evil Dead, the series, has been one of my favorite, even when they got super goofy with Army of Darkness. Still one of my favorite things out there, just being completely honest with you. And I was not disappointed. I'm going to go ahead and give you I think a couple of non-spoiler things before I get into spoilers. Non-spoiler, actors, solid. Not great, not going to win an Academy Award, obviously, and these movies are never probably ever going to win one because of the subject matter and everything else. But just to be honest with you, the actors did really well. We got Elisa Sutherland as Ellie, done good. Lily Sullivan, Beth, done great. I thought the kids, Morgan Davis, Neil Fisher, and Nell Fisher and Gabrielle Eccles did they did great. Okay. I'm also going to give props to the director, Lee Cronin. Dude, give the man a clap. Standing ovation for Lee Cronin. If I'd have been able to see one of these, if I ever get invited to go to one of these premieres, I'd stand up and give this guy a standing ovation and whatnot, because he did a great job. I also want to give a shout out to the cinematographer, Dave Gorbett. Oh my God, dude. There's a couple of things I'll talk about a little later that are just super good. Well done by this gentleman as well. I don't know who the director, or if it was him that made certain decisions, but even if the director made the decisions for certain kind of shots, the guy who did the shots, the guy in charge of that, the cinematography guy, bro, he did an amazing job. Just want to put that out there right there on Front Street. The sound in this movie was also really super good. I definitely suggest going to the movie theaters to see this. This movie right here, 9. I'm going to see it. I don't. This is a movie. I'm giving it a solid 9 right here. Immediate grade is a 9. This movie on a second viewing could go up to a 9.5. It will not be able to go down for me. It's only going to go up. If you like, I did a short about this, but if you like horror, go see this movie. If you like craziness, go see this movie. If you liked other Evil Deads, go see this movie. If you like a movie that goes and gives you a little bit of that nostalgia or the old feel, in certain situations, but doesn't beat you over the head with it, because there's a couple of shots and stuff I'll talk about a little later that reminds you, and a couple of little things that remind you of old style Evil Dead with some of its goofiness, go see this movie. If you love interesting ways to shoot things at certain points, with the cinematography I was talking about earlier, go see this movie. If you're a fan of movies and can deal with blood and guts, go see this movie. If you love blood and guts, go see the movie, man. This movie right here is fabulous. For it to have as high of a Rotten Tomato score as it is, because these type of movies right here, these super bloody, horrific movies, aren't going to get super great scores a lot of times, because people that go see them aren't even horror fans in some cases. They're just going there to see the movie and be a critic because, that's their job. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to see it because they love the genre. For them to even be given this movie pretty high scores is pretty damn amazing. But it looks like it's loved universally so far. It's not one of those 100%. I think it's in the upper 80s% right there. But like I said, for the style of movie this is, that's a really good score. Really super good score. They did a lot of great things with this. Like I said, I can't talk about it enough. But let's get into some of the other things with this movie. Listen, man, Evil Dead Rise, like I said, just go and see it. But here goes some of the spoiler stuff right there. Cold open. Oh, my God. One of the best cold opens I've seen in a while. all up until the title screen of Evil Dead Rise, it pops up behind it. I thought that was a creative way to even do that. I love the fact that it starts off with just like the Evil Dead series, where you have like this in the Evil Dead, the older movies that have the spirit like flying through the woods and stuff, like getting up to the cabin to get whatever. They kind of had this shot at the very beginning, like with the title screens and everything else in the intro. But it turns out it's kind of cool because it's actually like a drone. You know what I'm saying? So like it wasn't actually the evil spirit, which I thought was really cool though, because it gave us that shot, that they used in the old ones, and they did it a couple of more times in the movie, but not too much. I thought it was fine. But the cold open was just amazing, dude. Like, oh man, I'm gonna get into that a little bit further down the road. This is hard done right. It's hard that don't give a damn. We got a cheese grater like scraping up some person's thigh. Just think about that in your mind just a second. A cheese grater going after your ass. You know what I'm saying? That's hardcore. You know what I'm saying? Listen, all them people back in the day in backyard wrestling used to do the cheese grater thing, and he's fake as hell, and they put it up against the forehead and look like they're trying to do something hardcore and everything else for their stupid little backyard wrestling. But with this being said, the cheese grater done right, man. It's literally like, oh my God, it's like this just thinking about what that would feel like is just, oh God, it creeps you out a little bit. So that's good stuff right there. Like I said, the non-spoiler part, actors, all these people, they were all solid. Like there wasn't a weak spot really to me on any of the actors or actresses that was in this movie. Direction, cinematography, sound, all that stuff was good. I know I already said that, but I kind of want to I'm reiterating it because of how great it was. Like there wasn't a weak spot really to me in this movie. One of my I've got two favorite scenes, okay, that I want to talk about. One is the cold open, because like we have that whole setup of the movie. We got one of the people sick. She's in the bed. She's already been sick, it seems like, for a little while. You got her friend that comes in the room and she's reading a book, Wuthering Heights, which I don't think that book probably sucks, but you know what? I might read it because the passage that is in this book that they're reading from sounds actually kind of cool. Kind of piqued my interest up a little bit. But the way the friend that's been sick wakes up and sits up and starts like reading passages from the book with obviously not being able to actually see the book. So that was done right. That was like creepy as hell. That was cool. She rips off this woman's scalp, and then like the guy, the boyfriend or whatever, he's down at the end of the pier, like playing around with his drone still. Homegirl comes out with her head like a scalp kind of, just ripped off. And he's like, what the hell? And then his girlfriend's coming out, like holding the scalp, drops it. Oh, my blood all over it. Like, bro, it was done good. That was awesome. Amazing. The second one, my second favorite scene, and I think this is done sometimes not very well, but man, I love the peephole scene. There's a whole peephole scene where they're shooting the movie from like a peephole, so you're only being able to see it through the peephole, and they do it really good. But it's not just like a little jump scare like people use it for all the time. It actually like is involved in the movie. It's actually like maybe a couple of minutes worth of like looking through this peephole, seeing everything through the peephole's point of view. It's really super cool because like you see the Deadite like doing her thing, like killing off some people, throwing little kids around. That's right, they throw little kids around in this movie. They don't give a shit. And then you have a guy with a shotgun shows up, like shoots the Deadite, and then all of a sudden, that don't happen good for him. He gets his ass destroyed too. But all that stuff during that was, I thought, really cool, really good shots, really good cinematography there, really good direction by that going on. My son's alarms going off on his phone. And then on top of that, we have but that was my two favorite scenes in this movie. I got one nitpick from this film. One nitpick would be, I don't think the end boss, you know what I'm saying? We always do that because of video games, whatever, say end boss, but the end monster like was not that great to me. It looked cool. It was a cool idea, but I just don't think it should have been like the final form, because it kind of made the Deadites weaker because they were all kind of congealed together into one form, and it made it slower. And even though it looked creepy, looked kind of scary, it kind of like made it easier for them to escape kind of deal. So it was actually easier for them to probably get away than what it would have been if it would have been just like a few of the Deadites like coming at them and stuff like that. So that's my one nitpick, but that's a nitpick because I still think it was a cool design. I still think it looked cool and creepy and stuff like that. And then that's why I called it a nitpick, because there's really nothing for this movie for me to really hammer home that was like not done good. This movie right here was done good. Looks like, look at this face right here of her, like of the mom here, is like, it's just so done so well. The eyes, the makeup, everything, you know, it's like so good to me. Like, just transformed her. She turned in from one person to another like pretty quick. But I do love that it was a thrill ride. A movie almost completely all the way out. There's a little part of the middle that gets a little slower when they're trying to figure out what they could do in this kind of thing, while the mom's actually trapped outside and they got the door locked and everything. But I didn't even feel like that was very that still had some things in it. Still had a couple of action scenes involved in that, because like they don't care. Everybody in this movie can die, and they could die at any moment. Just be prepared for that. Like, don't have your favorite character, because you might not have that character at the end of it. But just thought everything was done well. I love the fact they brought the chainsaw in. I love the fact they did the shaky cam at one point where Bruce Campbell would be running and it had like the camera in front of him, but it was going crazy because it was kind of moving while he's moving. They do that in one scene. They don't overdo it again. There's something they throw in there that's kind of cool. Like I said, they did the whole evil spirit, like where the camera's lens is basically the evil spirit, like coming up against something. And like they've done that in the old movies, and they didn't do it too much here. They thought it was fine. There's also a moment in this movie where the Deadite, the mom here, bites out an eyeball from a guy, and then like turns around and like spits it out, and it just happens to land, like, not happens, it's like she aimed that thing with target focus, like Luke Skywalker killing the Death Star. Shoots out the eyeball, it goes into this dude's open mouth, and he dies from swallowing and can't breathe from swallowing a whole eyeball. Like, so they threw in some of the goofy, like cheesy horror moments here and there in a couple of scenes and a couple of moments, but it was done great. It was done right. It was done like it was supposed to, and it made you feel like the old movie in that case. But they didn't overdo it, right? They just did it that once or twice, and it was so good. Like, so the direction, that's what I'm saying, I can't say it enough. Direction was just so good. This felt like an Evil Dead movie. This felt hardcore. Everything. I'm loving the fact that like Bruce Campbell and stuff, and they're using him as like someone to run some stuff through. Maybe like, hey, do you think this right here would be good and stuff, like in the scenes. I think even Sam Raimi was in the background of this film and stuff like that, and has and probably played a part in like how maybe they should go a little bit with the story. I'm loving the fact that I'm hearing that they're not only going to do this movie right here, that they're actually working on some stories and are going to put more of these movies out. It ain't going to be once every 10 years anymore. They're probably going to put one out every 2 or 3 years and all that. I'm glad, man, because it's so awesome. And the TV show that they had for this is one of the best shows you could probably watch, man, sometimes. So like, go give that a check if you haven't yet, but definitely go see this movie. 9, maybe a 9.5. I got to see it again. I'm going to see it again because it was that damn good. And I just believe you guys should go see it too. But with that being said, guys, go to the movies. And when you go to the movies, always do it sexy. You know what I'm saying? Until next time. Peace. Hey guys, it's Justin, aka Hambone, just here to let you know a couple of things that we have going on with the channel. One, we have a Patreon. If you can and want to support us, you can do that. As little as $1. You can join the Discord. We also have a merch store where you can get some cool shirts, mugs, and stuff with all of our different shows and labels on there. And thank you for all of our supporters that have already been there with us.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.